Okidogi with Rotom-Wash was able to top cut the Vancouver Regional Championship. We're going to be trying out that team and seeing how well it can perform. This is a crazy Zacian team that features some Pokemon we just don't see in Regulation G. Let's break it down. First, we have the Zacian with the Rusted Sword and the Interpret Sword with the Terra Water as your defensive typing. We've talked about Zacian multiple times on this channel. It's a very good offensive coverage with its great offensive and defensive typing of Fairy and Steel, able to do a ton of damage with its +1 attack that it gets from its ability, and the Rusted Sword giving it that Steel typing and form change. It's able to do a lot with its damage output with Behemoth Blade, Play Rough, Sacred Sword, and Protect. It's actually interesting that we're seeing Sacred Sword. We don't commonly see it anymore on Zacian. We usually see the Swords Dance, maybe Substitute or Terra Blast most of the time, but the Sacred Sword is good fighting coverage that's able to ignore the defense increases from opponents, so it can actually help out, especially into Dundozo matchups alongside the Zamazenta, and can still hit Terrapagos pretty hard, as well as Incineroar. So it's definitely a decent move on the Zacian for sure. With the EV spread, it's simply just max attack with Jolly Nature. You kind of need as much attack as you can get with the Zacian, since you don't have Swords Dance to help boost up the attack even further. Alongside the 156 speed in the Zacian, this allows it to outspeed base 135s that are positive, such as Miraidon, Fluttermane, Koraidon, and more. Otherwise, you just allocate the rest into HP because you're not outspeeding Calyx Shadow Rider if they do run max speed anyway. So might as well just have it in bulk, since Zacian is a pretty good Pokemon at taking attacks. Next Pokemon we have is going to be the Tornadus with the Covert Cloak and the Prankster ability with Terra Dark as the defensive typing to help out with the Encore from the Whimsicott, Prankster Taunts as well from the Tornadus, opposing Tornadus. And of course, it does help out against the Calyx Shadow Rider, being able to resist Astral Barrage, immune to the Psychic type attacks, good against Side Spam, and plenty more. Common Tornadus set, especially for the Covert Cloak set, you had the Bleakwind Storm, which is a strong spread flying type attack, Rain Dance to power up the Urshifu Rapid Strike, make the Bleakwinds more accurate, help as a defensive measure against Sun teams for Zacian, and more Tailwind support. Of course, Prankster Tailwind is absolutely insane, and Taunt to help shut down things from your opponent's setup. So this Tornadus is just overall bulky. It has max HP, 180 defense, and 76 special defense with a calm nature. The Tornadus overall is just able to take attacks. You don't really need the speed and the special attack, as you're just trying to stick around on the field for as long as possible, so you can set up both maybe Tailwind and Rain Dance, get some chip damage with Bleakwind, or just Taunt to be annoying. Running a bit of special defense to help out against Calyx Shadow Rider and Terrapagos. You still need a lot of defense though for like Mystic Water Surging Strikes from Urshifus, or Rain Boosted Surging Strikes from Urshifu some of the times. So having a lot of physical defense is still necessary, but having some speed def can be very useful in specific matchups. Next Pokemon we have is the Landis Incarnate with the Life Orb and the Sheer Force, Terra Water as the defensive typing with the moves Protect, Sandsea Storm, Earth Power, Sludge Bomb. This is a very common Landis Incarnate set. It's just able to do so much and hit pretty hard with that Life Orb Sheer Force combination. That's absolutely absurd. Can do great damage into Miraidon, into Incineroar, just into plenty of Pokemon that can give Zacian a bit of trouble. So it's just able to be a great wall breaker. Of course, with the Sandsea Storm accurate in the rain provided from the Tornadus, Double Genie is absolutely incredible. The Terra Water is the defensive typing, helps out against Urshifu, some Calyx Ice Riders, and plenty more. And this Landis is actually running a modest set. At 156 gives you an extra stat point. It's basically the same if you were running Timid max special attack. You are running max speed on the Landis Incarnate in case you do fight like modest Chiyus. And then you have a bit of bulk for some specific coverage, just to be able to take attacks a little bit better with the Landis Incarnate and stick around on the field. Next Pokemon we have is a standard Choice Scarf Rapid Strike Urshifu with the Unseen Fist and the Terra Grass option. I don't think there's really much to say about Urshifu. We all know what this Pokemon can do. Just go through Protect with its contact moves and able to do a ton of damage, especially with Rain Dance Tornadus, able to help out and power up that Surging Strikes from Urshifu. The Terra Grass is going to be your defensive typing because you don't need water to boost the Surging Strikes when you got rain. So you can play around the Thunderclaps from the Raging Bolt, the Grassy Glides from Rillaboom, as well as the Mungus Spore and Rage Powder. So it can be a massive threat. The moveset is pretty standard as well. Surge Strike's close combat U-turn for pivoting, and then Aqua Jet in case you need the priority move. Just a standard 4 HP Urshifu with max attack and max speed to outspeed Calyx Shadow Rider. With that choice scarf, you do have to run max speed, neutral nature at the minimum, and you want to do as much damage as possible. Now let's start getting into some of the interesting Pokemon, with the Okidogi up first with the Assault Vest and Terra Grass option with Guard Dog as its ability. So if you do get affected by Intimidate with the Okidogi from like Incineroar, you are able to activate that Guard Dog and get a +1 attack boost instead. It's able to do a ton of damage with its moveset of Knock Off, Drain Punch, Upper Hand, and Gunk Shot. Gunk Shot just being a really strong poison type move, though the low accuracy is the risk that you do have. Upper Hand is to prevent priority moves and does have the potential of flinching them if they are from a Pokemon that doesn't have inner focus, such as like fake outs from like Incineroar, Rillaboom, Grassy Glides, Thunderclaps, and more, which can help protect itself or the ally. Drain Punch for recovery. Since you have Assault Vest, you want Okidogi to stick around on the field, and then Knock Off to be able to get rid of items and hit the Calyx Shadow Rider. The Assault Vest is just able to allow Okidogi to take attacks because it doesn't have the best HP and special defense in the world, but it still has pretty good physical defense, and with that Assault Vest, it's able to take attacks pretty decently overall. The Terra Grass is to play around certain strikes from Urshifu, the Amoonguss in general, and able to help resist the ground type attacks that are super effective into Okidogi. The EV spread wise, it's just max attack, so it can do as much damage as possible. It does have some speed because it needs 92 in order to outspeed Calyx Shadow Rider, max speed under Tailwind, so that is what the speed is invested for. And then you have some HP just for some general bulk. Okidogi is just really good into Pokemon such as like Terapagos, balanced teams. It can be very specific for matchups. It's just really good into like the teams of like Incineroar, Rillaboom, Urshifu balance cores, especially the Terapagos ones instead. It can be really good into Zamazenta, Xianpao, just because of the fact that you're able to resist a body press. Drain Punch for the recovery will do a ton of damage. It can hurt a lot of common Pokemon that we see and help scare away Intimidate from the Zacian thanks to the Guard Dog, making Incineroar a little bit hesitant of biting with that Intimidate. Final Pokemon we have is the Safety Goggles Levitate Rotom-Wash with the Terra Steel, which is to help out against like Rillaboom grass type attacks, which are the main ways of hitting the Rotom-Wash, but can be very nice as a defensive typing into fairy type moves and more. So we don't really see Rotom-Wash too much. Its stat distribution, just because of its base HP, it's just not able to tank attacks even with its pretty solid defenses and its special attacks compared to like most Pokemon in the format, just because of the power creep levels. But this Rotom-Wash just being very nice into Calyx Ice Rider, for instance, being able to resist the Glacial Lands, immune to the high horsepowers, and then can threaten with Will-O-Wisp and Foul Play, which is pretty cool. Foul Play just being able to hit a lot of the physical attackers out there, which is nice, especially into those Pokemon that we mentioned before, Lunala, Calyx Shadow Rider, and more. Will-O-Wisp is just a great defensive option that helps out against Zamazenta, Calyx Ice Rider, and plenty of physical attackers just out there. And then the coverage is nice because he had the electric coverage with Thunderbolt to hit the other Rapid Striker Shifus as well as Tornadus, opposing ones, which can be very nice. And then Hydro Pump that can hit Incineroar. Overall, you're pretty much running a very defensive Rotom-Wash spread. It's also going with the 112 speed stat, so you can outspeed Calyx Shadow Rider under Tailwind, although it does speed tie with the Okidogi, so do watch out if you do have Rotom-Wash next to Okidogi on the field. You have mostly some physical defense, just be able to take attacks from the physical side, such as the Urshifu, the Calyx Ice Rider, and more. Has some special attacks, so the Thunderbolts are hitting a little bit harder, as well as the Hydro Pumps, and then some special defense remaining. Overall, this Rotom-Wash can be a decent counter into Calyx Ice Riders alongside with Zacian. It makes that matchup very hard for them specifically. Overall, with this team, it's a very offensive Tailwind team. The main core is going to be the Zacian, Tornadus, Landorus, Incarnate, and the Urshifu Rapid Strike. Get Tailwind up, Rain Dance, just do a bunch of damage with these Pokemon. They're very fast and heavy hitting, so you can do a ton of damage and just pick up knockouts left and right. Okidogi can also hit pretty hard, but also protecting the Zacian from the Intimidates, so it can just do a ton of damage and pretty good again into the balanced teams. It's really hard for them to be able to do damage into Okidogi. And then Rotom-Wash can be very niche in some very specific matchups into Zamazenta and into the Calyx Ice Rider. If you'd like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. Zamazenta, Xianpao, Tornadus, Rillaboom, Urshifu, Chiyu. Okay. This team looks really weak to Okidogi, though the Tornadus is a bit concerning damage output wise. I do really like Zacian and Okidogi though, lead wise. Offensively, it's pretty good against their team, I'd say. If I'm gonna lead Okidogi plus the Zamazenta, am I bringing my own Torn? Matching Tailwind might be important, but it might not be necessary. I feel like I definitely bring Ursh. Ursh is just really good against their team. I kind of want to bring Rotom. Lando isn't bad either, but it's only for the Zamazenta, which I feel like can't really do too much to the Okidogi. So if I preserve Okidogi, I guess it could be all right. Maybe it's not. Actually, no, I don't want to lead Zama, I think. I'd rather lead Rotom because I can threaten to Wisp off into Zamazenta and Volt Switch. And if they lead Rillaboom, it's like, it doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, no, I would like that. I would like that. I think Torn in the back and Zacian's okay. I could bring Ursh. My only problem with Ursh is it's kind of threatened by... They have to bring Rillaboom right into this matchup. I just don't know how you're beating Urshifu if you don't. I guess you could rely on Torn, but even then, that seems a bit sketch right here. So let's see what we can do with this. I don't know if they're actually going to bring the Chiyu since it can't really do too much, I think, to my team other than into maybe damaging the Torn. But we're going to see Torn Chiyu lead, which is not what I expected, but okay. Rotom-Wash ends up being a good lead. Okidogi, not so much, but I don't think that's too bad. I'm just going to go hard into Torn, and I'm just going to go for a Thunderbolt into the Tornadus, because I do need to damage into Torn. If I give it a Torn, Okidogi has a much easier time against this team. If they want to focus the efforts down into Okidogi, that's fine. They can't knock out the Rotom in this position, so I should be safe. Torn is okay to be sacked here if necessary. We're going to see a Terra come out here from Chiyu. Could be Chiyu. Yeah. Terra Bug. Ooh, for the fighting type attacks, I guess. Okay, that's fine. Don't mind that. They can't tear the Zama anymore, which is nice. Sunny day, perfectly fine. So this is Sunny Day Heat Wave. That's going to hurt. Yeah, they go for the Heat Wave. Oh, I take that though. I guess that's Scarf. I do get the Thunderbolt off into the Torn and pick up the Knockout. So that's really nice. I can set up a Rain Dance position, or I could go for a Tailwind Wisp. Both are pretty good. So I love this position, actually. Getting rid of that Torn with the Thunderbolt, it's fantastic. We're going to see Xianpao come in. Interesting. All right. Do I want a Rain Dance or do I want a Tailwind? Probably just Tailwind, realistically. Yeah, because I don't mind the Sun being up if I'm not firing off water type moves, and I threaten the Chi with probably just a Behemoth Blade realistically. So I'm going to Tailwind, and I'm going to go for a Wisp into the Xianpao, because if I burn the Xianpao, get rid of its Sash, it's really nice. They go for the Sucker Punch. Nice. So that's beautiful. I am able to get the Tailwind up with my Torn. And we're looking like in a really good spot afterward, because this is a Will-O-Wisp off into the Xianpao. That's going to neuter its attacking powers, which is nice. And we're going to see probably Heat Wave again, which is completely fine. Yep. I mean, my only concern if this is Sash Chiyu. If it's Sash Chiyu, I guess I could be concerned, but I think it's probably all right. We're just going to go out and I think this is Scarf. They're usually Scarf on these teams. I'm just going to go Zacian. I'm going to go for Behemoth Blade and a Chiyu because I'm not going to risk a miss. And I'm going to go for Will-O-Wisp into the Chiyu slot. Covers for the Zamazenta switch in. So we'll go for Behemoth Blade. We'll go for Will-O-Wisp. The only play that might screw me over here is just being a... Okay. That looks like... Are you Sash? If you're Sash, this is... I kind of made a fool of myself, though I think this is still pretty winnable. Yeah, no, it goes down. Okay, perfect. So we do get rid of the Chiyu, which is beautiful. Chiyu goes down. And now I think Okidogi plus Rotom-Wash unironically wins because I can just Behemoth Blade the Xianpao and I can go for a Wisp in the Zamazenta. I guess if I miss Wisp, it's annoying. But it only really is annoying if it's Iron Defense, I think, on the Zamazenta. I think any other set I'm okay against. Zamazenta gonna come out. Do I even care about... does Pow even knock me out with Throat Chop? I feel like it probably does, so I should. I also have Sacred Sword on the Zacian, so I think like we're in a pretty set shape. I'm just gonna go for the Behemoth Blade, and I'm just gonna go for the Wisp into the Zamazenta. Xianpao gonna protect, which is fine. Assuming we land a Wisp, we're in really good shape. Oh, they just double protect. Okay, yeah. No, they're just losing a lot of momentum now. They're just losing a lot of momentum. So I'm just going to do the same play. Behemoth Blade the Xianpao and with the Zamazenta. So Rotom actually ended up being a really good lead. Like, I thought about leading Zacian, but I would have taken a lot of damage from the heat waves. I would have probably been forced to Terra. This way I get to save my Terra. Granted, I guess I don't even need my Terra in this point in the game. Because nothing... Like, maybe I could have Terra'd my Zacian in case it was Focus Sash. I probably should have, but I don't think it was really necessary. I think we're going to Behemoth Blade. We're going to Whisk. Because, like, Sash Chi-Yu, I think, like, Pow is always going to be the Sash on this team, regardless. So we're going to Wisp here. We're going to go for Behemoth Blade. They're going to Sucker Punch my Zacian for the extra chip instead of going for the double protect, which ends up working out because now the body presses are not going to be powered up by that sort of ruin, doing more damage to my team. So that's fantastic. If we land a Wisp, we just guarantee win. Yep, we guarantee win now because the Wisp does land on the Zamazenta, and that is checkmate. And Rotom-Wash actually being really good against this team, unironically. A body press going to come out in the Zacian, but thanks to that Wisp is super nice. And Sacred Sword we do have, even though we already have fighting coverage on 2 of our mons. The fact that we can just have Sacred Sword on our Zacian just to bypass the Zamazenta and threaten it, and I just go for Thunderbolt just for consistent chip damage. Yeah, there's nothing that this Zamazenta can really do here. I don't know if it will go down. Okay, Rotom goes down to the body press before I could get a Thunderbolt off. I think Zamazenta might be able to live a Thunderbolt realistically, but yeah, they just have no hope here. I have Drain Punch on my Okidogi. I have Sacred Sword. Like, the only thing I was scared about is I missed a bunch of Willis. They get Iron Defenses off, but then I had Sacred Sword on Zacian, so they don't even have the turns to set up the Iron Defenses because Sacred Sword is just a 2 KO since they already used their Terra on the Chi earlier on the Terra bug. So beautiful. I also don't know why they Terra bugged earlier because I did have the, I guess, like, actually no, because I had Okidogi lead, right? Because I could have Drain Punch. Yeah, no. They just were not in a safe spot. Reshiram, Sableye, Yanmega, the Walking Wake, Fluttermane, and Chestnut. Okay, it's probably Sunny Day Gravity on this team with Hypnosis, Yanmega. The Chestnut's probably just Wide Guard support. Yeah, we have Rain Dance Torn, but the Sableye can't get taunted. So, yeah, that's not fun. Alright. I don't want to approach this because, yeah, this is definitely not an easy one per se. I think I go with... I need a way to knock out the Sableye immediately. I might have to just commit to Terra immediately on my Zacian just to get rid of Sableye. Like, that's actually the thing I probably need the most. So I'm going to bring Zacian. Terra Water is actually pretty good here, so I can't really complain too much. I think it's Zacian plus Torn because I can taunt the Yanmega, which is nice. In the back, Lando seems pretty good. Sansear is pretty strong in this matchup. Ursh isn't bad here. I forgot. Does Bulletproof block Gunk Shot? I don't think it does. I'm like pretty sure it doesn't. I think I'm gonna bring Okidogi and Landorus back. Yeah. Let's try it out. See how well it performs. My number one goal is to get rid of Sableye so I can Rain Dance immediately because they're probably just going to set Sunny Day, go for a fire type attack, and then ideally I KO the Sableye and then can go for Rain Dance afterward and then shut down their entire strategy. I don't know if I want a Tailwind or not turn 1. I might Bleak Wind in case it's Sash Sableye, which it definitely could be on this team if it's Sunny Day because you want to assume it's Sunny Day and Gravity. Yanmega plus the Sableye is an interesting lead. Okay. I mean, I'm just going to go for Play Rough immediately into Sableye, and I'm just going to go for Bleak Wind. I just need that knockout onto Sableye ASAP. I guess I could have taunted the Yanmega, but I guess it should be Sash Yanmega always, right? So I could have just taunted the Yanmega and went for Play Rough into thing. But they're just going to Protect because they always usually go for Protect, so that's fine. They go for Whisk. Okay. So Bleak Wind plus Play Rough's the right play then, because if I get the KO on a Sableye with this double up, which I should, we're in a really good spot. Play Rough? Oh, we just KO with Play Rough anyway. That wasn't even a crit. It's just KO Sableye anyway. I guess that's just Zacian. All right, nice. No Weather is beautiful. They also can't Hypnosis my Zacian now, which is actually pretty good. Does the Mega get any support that I'm just thinking of? I know it gets like Air Slash, Bug Buzz for damage coverage, like we've seen it before. But I don't remember if it gets any like special defense inducing dropping moves. We're going to see Reshiram come out. I have a Landorus in the back, so I'm not really too concerned about it. I think I'm just going to go for a Bleak. I think I just Behemoth Blade the Mega, and I think I just rained. Did I rain dance or taunt? I think I taunt. Did I Terra my Zacian? I don't need Terra on Okidogi most likely. Terra on Landorus to water could help. I could also just rain dance and take the Hypnosis on Torn. I think I'd rather just taunt though. I'm just gonna taunt. I could try just getting a free switch. We see a Terra. If this is Terra Dark Mega, I guess maybe this was a misplay. How about they Terra the Reshiram actually into fire? Okay, they're going for really strong damage output. But luckily, Earth Power is going to be really incredible to deal with the Reshiram. So Taunt is going to come out into the Mega, prevent any Hypnosis strats, which is great. Or Sunny Day if it has Sunny Day. Hypnosis into the Torn, nice. Behemoth Blade will come out into the Mega, breaks the Sash, that's all I need. Heat Wave. Torn is going to take this. We're special defensive. Zacian is probably going down, which is fine. Yeah. All right, Zacian goes down. Beautiful. All right, we could go Landorus or Okidogi. I think my best play is just to always go Landorus here. I think I want to Terra Water here. Yeah, I'm just going to Terra Water, go for Sludge Bomb in the Mega, and I think I'm just going to Tailwind here. Because Reshiram's threatened by the Earth Power. If they want to stay in, they're going to go for Heat Wave most likely, so that's fine. I expect Protect from Reshiram and an Air Slash KO into Torn. So my idea here is going for the Sludge Bomb into the Mega. Hopefully pick up the knockout, because I think we should with Sludge Bomb with Life of Sheer Force. Yeah, they do Protect with the Reshiram. Beautiful. I just did this in case they attacked aggressively for some reason with Heat Wave, which I didn't think they would, but I think you should always just Air Slash the Torn. Yep. Ooh, we survived, which is actually really good because I get the Sludge Bomb off into the Mega. I pick up the knock on the Mega. Now I'm in a great position to click Rain Dance, Dance Here Storm, and I think we'll have an amazing spot to clean up this win. Unless they get the double protect, I guess. If they get the double protect, and Draco, I suppose. Did I cover that? I can cover that if I want to. You know what? I'll cover it. I'm going to go for Protect and I'm going to go for Taunt into the Reshiram. Yeah. Because Rain Dance also boosts the power of Hydro Steam on the Walking Wake, so that's okay. I protect the Landorus and I taunt the Reshiram. This way they can't protect the following turn. I still have Tailwind and then I Earth Power KO the Reshiram secured. They went for Snarl. Interesting. Okay. That wasn't saving them, but that works out. All right, Snarl going to come out. Tornadus goes down, but then we get to bring in Okidogi in the bag. Okidogi is looking pretty good. Did we see booster energy from the Walking Wake? I don't think we did. I think I just spammed Drain Punch anyway. I could Gunk Shot if I really want to ball, but in order to knock out the Landorus, they have to Draco Meteor the Landorus, which means there'll be -2 special attack, so Okidogi should always win, barring like multiple crits. We Earth Power the Reshiram. We go for a Drain Punch into the Walking Wake, and that should secure it. Because the Reshiram can't protect because we went for Taunt. If they went for the double protect, and if they missed it, I get the Taunt off. If they got it, I just hope they don't get the triple, basically. That was what gave me the best odds, I think, of winning this game. So I get rid of the Reshiram. Beautiful. And now Drain Punch into the Walking Wake. Maybe I could have knocked off to get rid of the item because I don't remember seeing if it was booster energy, but Drain Punch, still pretty good damage across the board. What are you going for? You're going for Snarl. Snarl's not going to change anything. Okay. Because Earth Power and a Drain Punch is still KOing the Walking Wake. You can protect yourself at the last turn Tailwind, but I'm pretty sure the game is sealed up because I just don't see what you can do here. All right, no protects either. So Earth Power just crits the Walking Wake. I don't know if it mattered. In the long term, assuming no crazy luck, but even then, like, I don't know what they could do to luck me here at this point in the game because I always get the Earth Power and Drain Punch if they're not protecting at that point. to win the game. I guess if like Draco crit KOs Okidogi and then they Draco crit my Landorus again, maybe? That's like the only way. It had to be Specs, but then again, they revealed Snarl and they weren't Life Orb, so there was no way they were KOing. Terapagos, Fluttermane, Incineroar, Sinistra, Metagross, Clodsire. What am I looking at here? Okay. I really like Okidogi. I like Torn. It's not really necessary. Rotom can put in work. I mean, I love Okidogi here. Okidogi is so good. Can I be Clodsire if I don't bring Lando? I think I always bring Lando because I don't think I can actually be Clodsire without it. Yeah, because it was my team. If it's Water Absorb specifically, I guess. What am I leading? Okidogi Lando's an okay lead. I think I'll lead it. Ursh in the back and Zacian. Because I don't think I need Torn Taunt for anything. I'm kind of curious on what set this Terapagos is. You would think it'd be Calm Mind, but I could definitely see Specs on this team as well. Because immediate damage pressure they don't really have. So we'll see. Gonna be the Fluttermane and Incineroar lead. Okay, Okidogi's fantastic here lead-wise, so I'll take this. I'm willing to just attack with my Lando and Earth Power. And Gunk Shot to Flutter. I need to get rid of Fluttermane because Icy Winds. It's not booster. What set is this Flutter? I'm Gunk Shotting. I'm clicking Earth Power regardless. They can only fake out one, and I get a KO with the other, unless it's Sash Flutter, which is fine. Fake out gonna come out of Lando. That's fine. Icy. Oh, they Moonblast. Okay. So I get the Gunk Shot off, right? Yep. Okidogi coming in clutch. Gunk Shot on the Flutter. Focus Sash. Okay. Interesting. I'm fine with that. I could have upper handed, but like that was also risky for my opponent. I'm just going to Drain Punch the Incineroar and I'm going to swap out. No, I just protect. I don't want to swap. I can afford to swap though. No, I'd rather have Zacian in. Icy Wind Willis is like the only scary play here for my opponent, I think. And even then, it's not like too bad because I still have Ursh as a backup and Zacian that can hit the Terapagos. With the Fluttermane weakened, it's really nice. So get the attack boost. They Moonblast my Lando again. Okay, so they want to get rid of my Lando. Perfect. I'm able to get the Drain Punch off an Incineroar. Nice. It's not max speed Incineroar. Drain Punch KOs at +1. Beautiful. And now my Zacian outspeeds their Fluttermane. So I just threaten a Flutter, and Okidogi probably will just threaten whatever comes in. So this is a beautiful start. Like, this is a beautiful start. Surprised that... I mean, Metagross coming in. Okay. It's not Clodsire in the back. I'm, like, very confident it's not Clodsire in the back. I'm going out in a Landorus. And I am going to Behemoth Blade the Flutter. Because Okidogi to me is more valuable than my Lando at this point. If there's no Clodsire in back. So I bring in the Lando to sack it. They don't protect the Flutter, which is also bad for them. So I do get the KO on Flutter. Nice. Crit doesn't matter. Does Sacred Sword and the Surgeon KO Metagross? Probably. Sacred probably does half. Psychic Fangs into Lando. There's no Terra that I need on this. I just go on to Urshifu. And I click Surging Strikes and Sacred Sword into the Metagross. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I just brute force this. Even if Metagross survives somehow, they can't get like a knockout on both Urshifu and Zacian with Terapagos even on the board. Like maybe if they self-Earthquake... Terra Starstorm and they crit the Starstorms? Maybe? I guess like if it's Specs Pagos, like the game is still not over. Well, let's see what they do here because I'm definitely just clicking Surging Strikes in Metagross. Because if they Terra Metagross, like the Pagos only has single target attacks, which is completely fine. And also I don't have to worry about Terra Starstorm anymore, so I could just Terra my my Okidogi at that point to win. Pogos coming in, Urshifu coming in. I could also just use close combat Sacred Sword the Pogos and pick up the knockout. That might actually work, actually. Now that you know what? No, that's always my play, actually. That's just a better play. Yeah, no, I just do that. Because if they Terra, they just lose. And if they don't Terra, they just lose. Unless they protect here with Pogos. Which would be a crazy protect, but let's see. Like, I don't think Metagross can do anything to my Ursh once I Terra Grassed. Okay, they decide, hey, I'm not going to Terra. I don't think I revealed Sacred Sword yet, so that's specifically why. They don't know that the Pogos is actually threatened by heavy damage. I guess I could have Surging Strikes for extra damage, but I was making sure that... I'm pretty sure Sacred Sword just KOs at this range of +1. Like, I'm very sure. Yeah. So, Terapagos goes down, and now I just don't see how they win. They go for Psychic Fangs, but... Oh. Is that Choice Band? That life over Choice Band? That did so much. Like, Ursh has good defenses. I know it's -1, but I have some good defenses. I think that's banded. I think that's banded. Let's see. Let's see. We'll find out. I'm going to Sacred Sword, and I'm going to knock off. I guess if it's banned, it's probably better to Drain Punch, because then Zacian cannot guarantee lose here. But then again, if I get the knockoff, I just do too much damage, right? Oh, wait, they still have Terra. I don't know if there's a Terra that saves them, though. They would need, like, Ghost Terra specifically here. And now I don't think they could win. I just get a knockoff always, right? And if I don't get the knockoff, that means they're still trapped in. Sacred Sword. Actually, a bit like 40, because I'm used to adamant damage. No, I'm just used to the old Zacian. Knockoff, it was Choice Banded. Yeah, confirmed. Psychic Fangs and the Okidogi will pick up the knockout. Okay. I'm actually really glad I did target Terapagos now, but at the end of the day, Banded Metagross was not what I was expecting, but now I guarantee a win because I have a Behemoth Blade that just fires off into Metagross. I don't care it's Terra. If it's Terra Ghost, it's going down to Behemoth Blade. Doesn't matter what Terra you are, you're going down to Behemoth Blade. Zacian cleans up here. So... yeah, just a strange one. Not exactly how I anticipated by far, but they just really didn't have any good switches to a +1 Okidogi. Like Lando, all it had to do was just absorb attacks, stick around in case there was a Clodsire randomly so I could Earth Power it. But I probably wouldn't lose to Clodsire most likely because I could just Behemoth Blade it, but just to be safe, I guess. Because otherwise I kind of walled with my Pokemon. But... yeah, just Behemoth Blade KO to Metagross. I mean, the game's over. I don't know what they're thinking. If they have Terra Ghost, I guess you rip it. Like, you pray that I throw and go for it if you have Terra Ghost. But yeah, Behemoth Blade gonna KO to Metagross easily. And Metagross will go down. I gotta disrespect the Metagross. It didn't do more damage, but the problem is it needed a Choice Band to do the damage, which meant... yeah. And he can't protect Urshifu, so the Pogos was threatened. I guess like the only play they had... no, like it would have been double protect with Pogos. They had to protect the first turn to avoid the Sacred Sword, then second turn they had to get double protect because my Okidogi was faster than Metagross. So they needed to double protect. Yeah, they needed 2 protects in order to win that end game. But you just don't really protect in front of an Urshifu, especially if they think my Urshifu isn't Scarf, which I didn't confirm if I remember right. Calyrex, Shadow Rider with the Xianpao, Urshifu, Iron Hands, Weezing, Dragonite. My concern is this should be the Kyle Livinghouse team, but I think the order is different. So this might be like some different spreads or item choices. Definitely could be. That's rough. My last game plan wasn't bad, but it's definitely far from optimal. I think I just lead Torn again. I think Torn plus Okidogi is not bad for me. I do want Ursh in the back and Zacian. I think I'll try the Okidogi mode this time. I think Okidogi can provide a decent amount of work if they decide, hey, I'm not going to lead Shadow Rider. And if they do lead Shadow Rider, I'm going for the Terra immediately. Like, always going for the Terra. And then brain that Shadow Rider's Sash so Ursh can always revenge KO it in the later parts of the game. Let's see. Qianpao Calyx. This is an incredible lead for me here. I think. I think. So my only concern is if they want to hard switch into the wheezing to prevent my tailwind. I have to call that. Or do they just stay in? I'm going to Tailwind, and I think I'm going to Drain Punch the Qianpao, because they should never Terra Ghost in this situation. And I'll speed to Qianpao, and I sack Okidogi for Qianpao, which isn't a bad trade. They do switch out to Calyx, so at least I get the knockout in the Qianpao, which is actually really good for me. Yeah, they do make the Weezing play. I'm not surprised. This is Stellar Terra, not Ghost Terra, so I should be fine here with taking the knockout into Pao. Yeah, and I get to save my Terra, which is great. Okay. Oh, because the Sword of Ruin isn't active, it doesn't KO the Torn. I know the Torn has defense, but I was not expecting to survive life or power. I mean, I guess it's the same as like an Ice Spinner without it, but that's a massive turn. That's an incredible turn for me. I get to knock down a Qianpao, and now I get the pressure with Bleakwind Storm knockoff into Calyx if it comes in. That's an amazing turn right there. And Calyx is coming in. I just click Bleakwind knockoff. I just clicked Bleakwind knockoff. I just clicked Bleakwind knockoff, man. I could also Rain Dance so Ursh always gets the KO, which is also fair. I also want the damage into Weezing, so I'm just going to Bleakwind knockoff. They should always protect here. If you don't protect, you're throwing, but that's fine. Okay, as long as we hit the Calyx, we're fine. As long as we hit the Calyx, we're fine. That is a aggressive play. Knockoff going to KO the Calyx, pick up the knockout. Incredible, incredible 2 turns right there. Was not expecting to get the tail end of this game. It just made it so much easier. But yeah, we get rid of the Calyx. They go for Gleam to KO my Torn. But at this point, like, can you really do much? Terra wise, I think I just bring in Zacian and I force a Terra on the Weezing. And if they don't Terra Weezing, that's fine. Is this Iron Hands? No, this is Dragonite. Okay. So wait, no, I have a guaranteed KO on Dragonite here. I just Play Rough and I Drain Punch. And assuming I don't miss a Play Rough, I get the KO on Dragonite. Battle gonna be forfeited. Okidogi, man. Okidogi Torn. Put in some work. Put in some work right there. All right, we have Miraidon, Urshifu, Whimsicott, Ogerpon, Heartflame, the Farigiraf, and Iron Hands. Okay, so this should generally be a good matchup. We have quite a few tools that are good against it. We have our Landorus Incarnate. We have our Tornadus. I don't think we bring our own Urshifu. It could be broad. I don't think it's necessary. I like Okidogi. It's really hard for them to pick up a knockout immediately into. So I think I'm going to lead Okidogi plus... I think it's Torn. Do I lead Torn immediately? I think Torn is fine. I guess I could lead like what? Torn plus Zacian, but that's just really bad into something like a Miraidon lead. I think it's just Torn plus Okidogi, which is completely fine. Have the Landorus and the Zacian in the back. I could have let Torn Lando too. Torn Lando would have been too bad. The problem with Torn Lando is it does... Actually, no, I don't like Torn Lando. The reason I don't like Torn Lando is just because if they lead Whimsicott plus Steve Miraidon, I just get Tailwind Draco Meteored. And that's really bad. So I don't think that's ever worth it. Trying to think about how the upcoming turns work, but I think I just go for... If they lead Whimsicott Miraidon, I just go for Gunk Shot, turn 1 Tailwind. If they go for Ogerpon lead, I think I just Gunk Shot the Miraidon in Tailwind. I think that's probably ideal. We'll see. Whimsicott Urshifu lead. Okay. That's fine. Okay. I'm just gonna go for a gunk shot immediately into the Whimsicott. Do I Tailwind or do I Bleak Wind is the question. Or should I gunk shot the Ursh? I might need to damage into Ursh more actually. I think I'm gonna Drain Punch the Ursh actually, and I'm just gonna go for Tailwind. Yeah. Okay, I was covering for them if they decide to go for Terra Water because I don't think the Ursh actually knocks out my Torn without Terra. I was worried about Terra Water Surging Strikes into Tailwind. Oh, that's really not big damage. Okay, I don't think that's Mystic Water. I'm pretty sure that's just Sash then. Okay, like if it's Sash, I'm not really too concerned about it. We'll get the Drain Punch off to break that Sash. All right, now they're just pinned by Miraidon, so that's fine. I'm just gonna gunk shot the Whimsicott, I guess, and I could taunt. Do I want to taunt or Bleak Wind? I think I just Bleak Wind realistically. Yeah, I'm just gonna Bleak Wind. Maybe I should have taunted to be safe. I could get Encored, I guess. Encore's kind of fine here though. Get a Encore here, which is fine. I'm guessing it's Covert Cloak Whims if it's Sash Ursh, just because the damage was so pitiful from the Ursh. And like taunt wouldn't have mattered anyway. If I'm getting locked into Encore, I would have had to switch, which is fine. We are just taking a bunch of damage from the Ursh, but that's acceptable. That one gonna fail, but that's all right. And gunk shot hit. Nice. That should KO Whimsicott, and that is their Tailwind Mon gone. So that's pretty good. Okay. I'm fine with losing both Pokemon here too. Because in order to lose, actually, would I? Yeah, I think I'm fine with losing both Pokemon. We'll ride on in. Yeah, I'm just staying in here realistically. I think I'm just gonna... I guess I just gunk shot the Miraidon always. Because I don't think Drain Punch puts Miraidon into range of Play Rough. I could have Terra Dart, I guess, Tornadus. That would have probably been better. But I think Terra Water and Lando could still have impact. So yeah, I just sacked these Pokemon here. They go for Volt Switch. Interesting. Okay. So Okidogi goes down, but I'm okay with that because they won't... Yeah, no, I'm okay with this. Because if it's Iron Hands in the back, I click Sandsear plus Play Rough into Ursh always. Yeah, no, I'm okay here. And if it's Ogerpon, I click Sandsear Storm plus Behemoth Blade. Do I Terra Water, I guess is the question. I guess that'll be an interesting thing to note. Turning Strikes into Torn will pick up the knockout, but that's all right, as I said before. All right. So I guess if the Ursh is Jolly on this for some reason, I think I should be fine. We're gonna go Zash. Actually, do I even have to? No, I don't even have to, right? Yeah, no, I don't even have to. I can click Sandsear here. Yeah, I click Sandsear and I think I click Protect. I don't think you're gonna go for the Landers. You could Aqua Jet, I suppose. Would you Aqua Jet? I'm worried about Ivy Cudgel into Zacian. I need the ground type so I don't lose to an electric type move. It depends on if I think Ogerpon's targeting a Landis or targeting a Zacian. I'm going to protect Sandsear. Let's see. Because I feel like you would want the Ivy Cudgel into the Zacian in the endgame. Or you Spiky Shield. Spiky Shield I think is a fair play too. Yeah, exactly. Okay, nice. They go for Aqua Jet for the chip. It does a lot. Okay. Ah, did I miss the Ursh? I can't afford to miss the Ursh in this matchup, man. My hope is that the Ogerpon for some reason is slower than my Lando. Which I don't think is going to be the case, most likely. I feel like this is the World Champ build, so it should be faster. Yes. such a shame, man. I have to Terra too because I literally can't afford anything here. And the problem is Ogerpon's gonna outspeed both my Lando and, well, it's gonna outspeed my Lando, I think. Let's see. Here comes Sacred Sword. Wait, we outspeed. Okay, wait, that's massive. That's massive. Okay. Unless, no, that shouldn't be a speed tie, right? Because wasn't the Ogerpon? I thought the Ogerpon hit 154 on the World Champ build. Well, the fact that they're running bulk Ogerpon actually saves me because the Miraidon can win, I guess. It can win because they still have Terra. Wait, how many times is Terrano left? 2. I just protect with both Pokemon, so I can go for the double protect. Okay. Okay. We did attack twice last turn because we clicked Sandsear. I want to stall that turn to Rain because it matters heavily. The Electro Drift my Landorus. Okay. I was play rough Earth Power, right? Yeah. Because if they Terra... No, they're not going to Terra here. Because it would be Terra Fairy. You never Terra Fairy here. Because you always go for the play rough miss. Because if I go for Behemoth Blade... because if you go for the Lander slot the next turn, you just lose. And if you're going for non-Terra, you have to kill the Lando there. Otherwise, you're going to get Earth Powered. No, I think that's correct. Yeah, I always play rough in that situation. And if they Terra Fairy, like... either Behemoth Blade the next turn. Oh wait, if they Terra Fairy Electro Drift my... No, I just have to hit the play rough there. I can't afford to miss the play rough. That's basically what it came down to. I couldn't afford to miss the play rough. All right, I thought that was doomed. I literally thought that was doomed after, because I know I had to hit the Sandsears, but I thought that was doomed after the miss. But luckily, luckily the Ogerpon was slower. Calyx, Shadow Rider, Incineroar, Iron Hands, Ogerpon, Heartflame, Urshifu, and Whimsicott. This looks actually really tough. I think Shadow Rider is definitely a bit of a tougher one here. Okay. Okidogi looks pretty good, although there is the Ogerpon I do have to be concerned about. I think I'd probably want to lead. What do I want to lead? Okidogi? I want to lead Torn. I think I always bring Ursh to pressure the Calyx Shadow Rider. Lando is like, okay, it's not necessary. I think it's probably like Torn, Zacian, and then Okidogi, Ursh. Yeah, because I don't really like Rotom in this game. It helps it in Incineroar and I guess kind of Urshifu, but not really. I think I would probably want to lead Okidogi, Torn realistically. I think it's like a pretty good mid ground where most of my opponent's combinations are just weak to Bleak Wind plus like an attack from Okidogi. And then in the back, I like Zacian and then Urshifu. Like, if I force the Calyx to Terra immediately, that's great for, well, A, seeing what Terra it is. It's going to be, like, really important. I would like to go for the knockoff straight away. I have to watch out a bit for Psychic. I could also bait the Psychic. If they go for the Psychic and I switch into Zacian, that would be nice. But let's see what they decide to lead here. Whim's got Calyx. That's fine. All right, I'm leading Torn, Okidogi, and I think I'm just gonna click. Do I expect a Psychic move? This could be Draining Kiss, I suppose. I think I'd probably just go for a knockoff though with Terra Grass immediately, and not risk it. Just go for the Bleak Wind and get some damage off across the board because they could just go for an Encore, and I would prefer to be locked into Bleak Wind and Tailwind in this situation. They could switch out like Iron Hands or Incineroar and Protect, I guess. But that's fine. I get free damage on the Incineroar, and I already knew I was going to Terra immediately with Okidogi anyway, so I don't lose too much momentum-wise of what I was going to initially do, but let's see. I don't think we saw Terra on the Calyx, so if this isn't Protect on the Calyx, a knockoff is really massive here. And I mean really massive. So Terra Grass on the Okidogi. No Terra on the Calyx is really interesting. No Protects either. I'm Calm Tornado, so I think I should live in Astral. Yeah, they go for Astral, which is fine. Please hit the Bleak Wind. Nice. Good knockout. Breaking the Sash on Calyx Shadow Rider, which I think it is probably Sash. And knockoff going to come out. Pick up the knockout on Shadow Rider. Was it Sash? Because that's an amazing, amazing turn for me. Spell tag. Huh. I thought that was going to do a bit more for a spell tag, but that's super ideal. Able to get rid of the Shadow Rider immediately, which means I don't have to worry about Astral Barrage. Endgame is so nice. Ogerpon can come in though, which is a bit scary, but I think it's okay. Are you going to go Ogerpon or... Yeah, Ogerpon comes in. Yep. Okay. I do need to save Rain Dance so I can go for a Rain Dance move. Let's go for a... We're going to Ivy Cudgel the Okidogi and Encore, right? That's what I would do if I was my opponent. I would Encore the Torn and Ivy Cudgel the Okidogi. I think I'm going to go Zacian for this slot, and I'm going to go... No. I go Urshifu on the Okidogi slot, and I go Zacian for the Torn slot. Only way this goes bad is if they Moonblast read me or go for any other play that isn't what I would anticipate. But I think the safest line is just Ivy Cudgel the Okidogi and go for a Encore into the Torn slot. Unless for some reason you think I'm Mental Herb. If you think I'm Mental Herb, then I guess you target the Torn, but I don't know what that gets you really. All right, we see a Terra. This should be Ogerpon. I'm a bit concerned about why they Terra here when they didn't need to, but all right. All right, we see the Terra. So now it's weak to Aqua Jet, so I can go for like... Well, I can't Rain Dance Aqua Jet, unfortunately. Moonblast, yep, that makes sense. And this is Ivy Cudgel into the Okidogi slot. Nice, okay. Beautiful. Good stall out turns. Good stall out turns. I don't need my attack boost on the Zacian. This is Moonblast into Ursh, right? I think I always just go Torn here on the Moonblast, and you should always Ivy Cudgel my Zacian. Unless you're worried about Aqua Jet, I guess you would be forced to switch, but I just don't think you should ever be worried about Aqua Jet here. So we bring out the Torn. Does Rain Dance always put the Ogerpon in Aqua Jet range? Because that would actually be a play that I could have here, which would be nice. A Moonblast. Yep, that doesn't KO. Nice, they didn't double up the Ursh. Perfect. I mean, I just Tailwind always, and I switch to Okidogi. Yeah, that's always my play. I don't want Zacian Encore. This could be Iron Hands, I guess. But that's fine if it is. No, Ursh themselves. Okay, that's fine. Actually, no, this is really good. I'm pretty sure I set up for Ursh to win the game guaranteed then. Or not guaranteed, but very likely to win. So we bring out the Okidogi as we set up the Tailwind. They go for the Ivy Cudgel into which slot? They target down what was my Zacian. Okay, Okidogi goes down, but that's fine. Ursh is in a good spot. And now I can click Surging Strikes and Bleak Wind. Yeah, so now I go Urshifu. There are some RNG factors. I might have to hit a few Bleak Winds because I think ideally, like, this is going to be... I either Surging Strikes Bleak Wind their Ursh slot. I think I always just Surging Strikes the Ogerpon though. I think they're gonna go Whimsicott. The question is, does the Ursh Aqua Jet my Torn? In that case, I should swap. Oh, they did Aqua Jet my Torn, but that actually is good for me. It's good for me because I actually went for the Surging Strikes into the Ogerpon here. All right, so Ogerpon goes down. They have no Terra option. And if it's Aqua Jet, that means if it's Scarf, it can't outspeed my Zacian, which is massive. All right, goodbye, Ogerpon. Does 3 Surging Strikes knock out Ursh? I guess we'll find out. Because I always go Zacian here and I always click Behemoth Blade. I always leave a Surging Strikes from the Zacian into my slot. They're gonna have Tailwind up though. No, Whimsicott should always go down to Surging Strikes at that range. I think I always just play rough the Ursh and I just Surging Strikes the Whimsicott. I guess if it's Sunny Day Whimsicott for some reason, I guess that would be like the one thing that could mess me up. But we're gonna see Tailwind. I'm pretty sure Surging Strike should always knock out the Whimsicott at this range. Yeah, it always does. Okay, perfect. So if I knock out the Whimsicott and land a play rough, I should have the game guaranteed locked because it doesn't matter what Ursh does. I don't think they can pick up a knockout into both my slots in the next 2 turns. So it comes down to hitting play rough. Okay, we land play rough. That guarantees the win. It's Sash Ursh. Okay. So now or it's not Sash Ursh. Huh. I don't think Surging Strikes knocks out Zacian at this range. Unless it's Mystic. If it's Mystic, I might have messed up. If it's Mystic, I messed up. But we always go for Sacred Sword, I guess. I'm gonna be forfeit. Okay. What item is that Ursh? Well, we know it wasn't Band-Aid because it went for Aqua Jet and then Close Combat. Like, if they had to attack, they could have just attacked this turn and then they go for Surging Strikes. I think you go for Close Combat crit because I'm pretty sure that Close Combat crit's your best out. I'm pretty sure Surging Strikes doesn't knock out Zacian, so I think you go for Close Combat crit and then you have a shot, but I don't know why they locked into forfeit there realistically. Maybe they just don't have Protect. Maybe it was like a Assault Vest or that just loses play rough from my Zacian without a Focus Sash. Maybe that makes sense. All right, we have Terapagos, Cornerstone Ogerpon, Incineroar, Rillaboom, Heatran, Screamtail. This is a pretty standard team that we usually see, especially in Europe. I will Calm Mind Terapagos. That's heavy setup with the Screamtail Encore Disable support, as well as Magma Storm Heatran, usually to help out against the Zamazenta matchup. Okidogi is really good in this against this balanced team, though. Okidogi is incredible. So I will be bringing Okidogi. What else do I want to bring? I don't think I need Rotom. I think I would probably want Torn. Like, I'm thinking Torn Okidogi is really good here. I kind of like Torn Okidogi. Do I like Landorus? I probably don't need it. I think I want Ursh and I want Zacian. I think this lead is correct. The reason I want to lead Torn is so I can taunt the Screamtail so it can't do anything to Okidogi specifically. They really have very limited ways of dealing damage to Okidogi, so let's see what we're going to expect here. The Heatran, does it carry Wisp? I think it's Magma Storm, Terra Blast. It might carry Wisp. If it carries Wisp, I guess I have to watch out for that. Let's see. Terapagos, Ogerpon. That makes sense. Okay. Versus Tornadus and Okidogi. All right. I don't think they're ever going to Starstorm immediately. I think you would probably just Calm Mind here. Ivy Cudgel. I guess I could lose my Ursh immediately, but I guess that's all right. I think I'm just going to go for a Drain Punch immediately into the... Actually, what I want to Drain Punch, I kind of want to knock off immediately. Yeah, let's knock off the Terapagos. And Hard Zacian just makes so much sense to me. Yeah, because I could risk Zacian more. Yeah, I'm going to go Zacian, actually. Because Zacian is just threatening way more offensive pressure into these Pokemon. I don't have to watch out for, like, all like Ivy Cudgel or anything. I think Zacian in can threaten the Ogerpon next turn, so I could threaten the Drain Punch into Pagos. Yeah, we see the Ivy Cudgel come out into the Zacian, and we absolutely tank that. So get a knockoff into Terapagos. We're fast in Terapagos, which is actually good information to note. And goodbye that item. Gonna be that leftovers, and we're gonna see Calm Mind come out. Yep. All right, perfect. So I'm not really too worried about Terapagos. We have an Assault Vest Okidogi, and we have the Zacian on deck, and they also won't have Terra Shell, so that's actually really nice. I think I would just go for the Drain Punch into Ogerpon, and I think I'm just going to go for a Behemoth Blade into the Terapagos. I guess I could Sacred Sword the Terapagos as well. I think I'm going to Sacred Sword to Terapagos. There's no way you'll go hard Screamtail, I think, here, because I would Behemoth Blade the Ogerpon slot potentially. They go for Protect, which makes sense. The Okidogi, I think they plan to try to sack their Ogerpon here so they could get a free switch, but I'm not giving them a free switch opportunity because if I give them a free switch opportunity, it's bad. They go for Ivy Cudgel to get some damage into my Okidogi. Perfect. And I'm going to heal that right back up with Drain Punch. Beautiful. Brought to Sturdy. Incredible position now. We can now go for Behemoth Blade and Drain Punch into Terapagos and threaten a lot. I go for Behemoth Blade, I think. Did I Sacred Sword? Sacred Sword double up is okay too. I think I will go for Drain Punch and... You know what? No, I would go for Sacred Sword here because they would follow me most likely. They're going to follow me Starstorm, which is completely fine. I think that Torrent is able to survive the attack, so regardless, I'll be okay. All right, we see the Terra on the Terapagos. Perfectly fine. It should always be follow me. Yep. Perfect. Nice, nice, nice. We get the Sacred Sword off into Ogerpon, so Ogerpon will be going down here. I think we'll live an attack with Zacian too. Like, I don't think one Starstorm will KO me at this range. Drain Punch into Terapagos. That took it really well. That has to be Bold Nature. A Starstorm going to come out. This shouldn't KO Zacian. Yeah, not even close. Okay. All right. There should be Screamtail coming in, I guess. Or Incineroar coming out, which is an interesting decision. Okay. I'm all right with that. I can upper hand the Incineroar and Sacred Sword if I want to, but I'd rather just Drain Punch the Incineroar realistically and just go for a... Probably just go for damage into Terapagos. I'm going to Sacred Sword at Terapagos and just Drain Punch the Incineroar. They can fake out a slot, yeah, but that's fine. Like, the Terapagos is now threatened the following turn. Yeah. Like, sure, you get the KO on Starstorm now, but even if you get the KO with Starstorm, like, Ursh comes in, and Ursh is just clicking Surgy Strikes, and I'm clicking Drain Punch. Yeah, like, I think I'm completely fine. So we go out into Urshifu. Should I click Gunk Shot? No, I think I always just Drain Punch the Incineroar and Surging Strikes here. Yeah. They retreat Incineroar, but their Terapagos is just going down. They bring in Rillaboom, so yeah, the game's over 100% because I get the Drain Punch recovery on the Rillaboom from a +1 Drain Punch. I get the KO on the Terapagos with Surging Strikes. And yeah, this just looked really hard for them because Okidogi, unironically, is like the toughest matchup for them. They did not have an Okidogi matchup as Terapagos just goes down. Beautiful to the Surging Strikes. I get a Drain Punch off. And like, yeah. Then next turn, I'm just going to click Surging Strikes into the Incineroar and just a Drain Punch into Rillaboom. It's like guaranteed win at that point. Do I want to Terra Grass Okidogi? It doesn't really change anything. Drain Punch. Like, look at that damage. I even get a crit. So, like, yeah, there's just no chance of them winning at this point. Like, even without the crit, like, I guarantee win because there's also Torn in the back and I still have Terra on my side. I can just Terra Grass to Urshifu. Don't have to worry about Grassy Glide crits or anything. And this team doesn't run like a Will-O-Wisp. I'm about to get another Guard Dog active as well. So I'm +2 on my Okidogi. So now I just go for a Drain Punch and a Surging Strikes. And I guess I'm just going to target down the Rillaboom at this, or not Rillaboom, the Incineroar at this point. But yeah. They can't Terra. I just always go for Surging Strikes, Terra Grass. It just secures the game. But I was going to be forfeit because I realized it. Yeah, Okidogi. Okidogi put in a ton of work against the Terapagos stuff. It just has a really good matchup into it, especially with Torn Taunt. I think they need a Screamtail, but even then, I understand why. Screamtail's just so hard when there's a Taunt Tornadus. Was a Zacian on my team, so like, yeah, it just looked really rough for them. I couldn't really figure out how much. Like, I played aggressive. They maybe had to, like, crit me double times with the Starstorm. I mean, that's what it came down to. All right, let's go over to games. In game one, Rotom-Wash was actually incredible in this match. We were able to get a big Thunderbolt knockout into the Tornadus with the help of the Beads of Ruin. And then once we got rid of the Chi-Yu with our Zacian, the Wisp Rotom was just able to do so much work burning the remaining Xianpao and the Zamazenta, which is really tough for them to be able to win. In game two, this was a weird Gravity Sun team with Yanmega and Reshiram, but overall, just being able to knock out the Sableye turn 1, which was fantastic. Then I was just able to get the speed control with the Tailwind setup, which was absolutely massive, and then set up for a guaranteed end game where I could clean up the restroom and not have to worry about the walking Wakers too much. Was able to help secure the end game. In game 3, maybe I respected Clodsire too much, but this was a crazy team that I had to watch out for. The Incineroar and the Fluttermane, not as threatening to my Okidogi, as I was able to get the knockout to Fluttermane early, as well as the Incineroar, which was fantastic. And once I realized there was no Okidogi, yeah, like it just ended up being smooth sailing, because I was able to do a ton of damage early on. That Metagross could have been scary, but I still had the Zacian, which was just pretty good into my opponent's team in general. In game 4, I was not expecting Tornadus to live that Ice Spin or Life Orb, even with no sort of ruin because of the neutralizing gas, but was still in a really good spot. I guess I could have went for the Terra Dark with Tornadus so I can guarantee Tailwind in this position, as long as they don't go for a switch into the Weezing, and a second Okidogi would be the only bad spot I would be in. But otherwise, the fact that Tornadus lived, I was able to get the KO and Xianpao, and then just overwhelm my opponent in Tailwind was just a strong start. In game 5, not the lead I was exactly expecting, and I really thought this game was going to be over as soon as I did miss the Urshifu and was forced to go for a Sandsear with Terra Water. But luckily, I was just faster than the Ogerpon Heartflame, which was a big relief because I was not expecting to outspeed that Ogerpon, and I was just able to be getting a double knockout and then force them a Rhydon in a 1v2 that was unfavorable for them. In game 6, incredible start. They just gave me their Calyx Shadow Rider immediately, and the fact that I was able to get the Calyx Shadow Rider was very solid. I did have to do some pivoting around the Ogerpon Heartflame alongside the Whimsicott Encore threat, but was able to be put in a very good spot, so I was able to beat the Urshifu in the end. In game 7, Okidogi went crazy against this Terapagos team, man. There was not much that they could do, especially with the Taunt Tornadus, as well as the Zacian that also was pretty hard for them to get rid of. If they tried to intimidate and slow me down with the Zacian, Okidogi gets boosted. It just seemed really rough for them, and I was able to pretty much position the Okidogi perfectly and get the knockouts and just do as much damage as I possibly could to set up for a Urshifu cleanup. Okidogi is just a really cool mod. Rotom-Wash, I feel like it's very specific. I'm still not convinced by it. It was able to do well in the Zamazenta matchup, but I feel like a lot of the matchups Rotom-Wash were good do overlap with, I think, what was good in general with the team. Like Calyx Ice Rider alongside Zamazenta, I don't think are that bad matchups, and I can't really see too much off the top of my head that Rotom's really coming into. So kind of curious on what the full logic for the Rotom-Wash is. However, the Zacian, Tornadus, Landorus, and Incarnate Urshifu core is just a really strong core. I've actually used this core myself, and I was able to get top 20 in a global challenge with it. So it's very powerful, and I know exactly how well it can do. And then Okidogi was just a great support, man, with the ability to just scare away the Incineroars, dish out a ton of damage. It was really annoying for some teams to handle. If you'd like to check out the team, the rental code is on the screen. Hopefully it's still available by the time the video comes out. If you'd like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.